Hello everyone, and welcome to Reading with Mrs. Adams. I'm Mrs. Adams. In the winter where I live, it rains a lot, and that means that in the mountains not too far away, it snows a lot. And right now the mountains are covered with beautiful snow. So I thought it's the perfect day to read stories and poems about playing in the snow and building a snowman. The first poem I'd like to do is called Great Big Snowman, and it's a finger play, so you have to participate. Ready? Here we go. There was a great big snowman who had a carrot nose. Along came a bunny, and what do you suppose? That hungry little bunny went looking for his lunch. He ate the snowman's carrot nose. Nibble, nibble, crunch. The first story I'm reading to you today, boys and girls, is called Sadie and the Snowman. It's written by Alan Morgan and illustrated by Brenda Clark. It's about a little girl named Sadie who makes a really good snowman. I hope you enjoy Sadie and the Snowman. Sadie and the Snowman by Alan Morgan, illustrated by Brenda Clark. Sadie and the Snowman by Alan Morgan, illustrated by Brenda Clark, Scholastic Incorporated. To Joan and Len, Sadie and the Snowman. One cold winter day, Sadie made a snowman in her backyard. First she made a snowball, and then she made two more. Then she rolled them and rolled them until they were done. She used cookies for the eyes, an apple for the nose, and a great big banana for the smile. He was a really good snowman, and he lasted for a long time. But some of the birds ate the cookies, a squirrel ate the apple, and a large raccoon stole the banana. The sun came out, and the snowman began to melt. After a while, he didn't look much like a snowman at all. Sadie was sad. She missed the snowman, so the next time it snowed, she made a snowman all over again. There was still a bit of the snowman left, so she made it into a snowball. Then she made two more, and she rolled them and rolled them until they were done. She used crackers for the eyes, a carrot for the nose, and a nice fat zucchini for the smile. He was a really good snowman, and he lasted for a long time. But the birds ate the crackers, the squirrel ate the carrot, and a large raccoon stole the zucchini. The sun came out, and the snowman began to melt. After a while, he didn't look much like a snowman at all. This time, Sadie wasn't sad. She knew it would snow again. All that winter, Sadie made the snowman over and over again. The birds ate the eyes, the squirrel ate the noses, and a large raccoon stole all the smiles. The sun kept coming out, and the snowman kept melting, but there was always enough of the snowman left to start all over again. Then the weather turned warmer. The sun came out earlier, and it stayed out longer. Sadie worried about the snowman. She found an old blanket and made him a tent so he could hide from the sun. But the wind began to blow, and it blew and blew until finally one day the tent flew away. Spring was coming, and the snow on the ground was melting so fast the grass grew through. The snowman was melting too. Sadie took him apart and moved him under the porch where the sun couldn't see him. But even so, he kept getting smaller. After a while, he didn't look much like a snowman at all. The weather turned colder again just in time. It snowed a little during the night, and in the morning Sadie made the snowman again. There was still a bit of the snowman left, so she made it into a snowball. Then she made two more, and she rolled them and rolled them until they were done. She used raisins for the eyes, a peanut for the nose, and a twist of red licorice for the smile. When the snowman was finished, Sadie put him into a bowl and moved him back under the porch. He was a really good snowman, but Sadie wasn't sure how long he would last this time. The birds ate the raisins, the squirrel ate the peanut, and a large raccoon stole the licorice. The sun came out, and the weather turned warm again. This time the snowman melted down all the way, and all that was left was a bowl full of water. Sadie was sad. The really good snowman was gone now for good, and she knew she would miss him. Then Sadie smiled. She knew just what to do. She poured all the water out of the bowl and into a plastic bag. Then she put the plastic bag into her freezer. And for all that summer and all that fall, Sadie didn't miss the snowman at all. She knew she would see him again. So when winter came and it snowed again, Sadie took the plastic bag from her freezer and went outside. First she made a snowball all around the ice she had saved. Then she made 2 more, and she rolled them until they were done. She used cookies for the eyes, an apple for the nose, and a great big banana for the smile. He was a really good snowman, and he lasted for a long time. And that is the end of Sadie and the Snowman. Written by Alan Morgan, illustrated by Brenda Clark. The next poem I'm reading to you today, boys and girls, is called A Snowman's Nose. It's written by Pearl H. Watts. A snowman's nose. Who knows about a snowman's nose? It might be a snowball. It might be a lump of coal. It might be a carrot. It might be a banana. If you were a snowman, what do you suppose you would like for a nose? By Pearl H. Watts. The next story I'd like to read to you today, boys and girls, is called The Snowy Day. It's written and illustrated by Ezra Jack Keats, and it's a Caldecott Award book. It's about a little boy named Peter who has grand adventures in the snow. I hope you enjoy The Snowy Day. The Snowy Day by Ezra Jack Keats. The Snowy Day. The Snowy Day by Ezra Jack Keats, Puffin Books. To Tick, John, and Rosalie. One winter morning, Peter woke up and looked out the window. Snow had fallen during the night. It covered everything as far as he could see. After breakfast, he put on his snowsuit and ran outside. The snow was piled up very high along the street to make a path for walking. Crunch, crunch, crunch. His feet sank into the snow. He walked with his toes pointing out, like this. He walked with his toes pointing in, like that. Then he dragged his feet slowly to make tracks, and he found something sticking out of the snow that made a new track. It was a stick that was just right for smacking a snow-covered tree. Down fell the snow, plop, on top of Peter's head. He thought it would be fun to join the big boys in their snowball fight, but he knew he wasn't old enough. Not yet. So he made a smiling snowman, and he made angels. He pretended he was a mountain climber. He climbed up a great big tall heaping mountain of snow and slid all the way down. He picked up a handful of snow and another and still another. He packed it round and firm and put the snowball in his pocket for tomorrow. Then he went into his warm house. He told his mother all about his adventures while she took off his wet socks. And he thought and thought and thought about them. Before he got into bed, he looked in his pocket. His pocket was empty. The snowball wasn't there. He felt very sad. While he slept, he dreamed that the sun had melted all the snow away. But when he woke up, his dream was gone, and the snow was still everywhere. New snow was falling. After breakfast, he called to his friend from across the hall, and they went out together into the deep, deep snow. And that is the end of The Snowy Day by Ezra Jack Keats. Our final poem today, boys and girls, is called The Snowman, and it's one that I wrote. I hope you enjoy it. The Snowman by Robin Adams. The snowman craves cold weather. He likes the sleet and snow. He's happy when it's freezing, even 36 below. It's not because he wears a scarf. His top hat may be chic. He'd be content without them. He just can't stand the heat. Our final story today, boys and girls, is called The Biggest, Best Snowman. It's written by Margery Cuyler and illustrated by Will Hillenbrand. It's about a little girl named Nell who builds the biggest, best snowman with a little help from her friends. I hope you enjoy The Biggest, Best Snowman. The Biggest, Best Snowman by Margery Cuyler, illustrated by Will Hillenbrand. The Biggest, Best Snowman by Margery Cuyler, illustrated by Will Hillenbrand, Scholastic Incorporated. For Will Hillenbrand, with thanks for the Christmas card that inspired this story, and for Carol Vukolik, MC. For Ian, my son, Jane, my wife, and a big November snow, my inspiration, W.H. Little Nell lived with Big Mama, Big Sarah, and Big Lizzie in a big house in a big snowy woods. Big Mama, Big Sarah, and Big Lizzie had big blustery voices. They had big talky friends. They had big loud parties. When little Nell asked, "Can I help?" Big Mama, Big Sarah, and Big Lizzie shook their heads. "No, you can't," they said. "You're too small." "Yes, I can," said little Nell. "And no, I'm not." "No, you can't," they said. "And yes, you are." So little Nell would go into the big snowy woods. She would sit and watch the snow fall from the sky. She would walk under the bare-branched trees. She would play with her friends, Reindeer, Hare, and Bear Cub. One day, Bear Cub said to little Nell, "Can you show us how to make a snowman?" "No, I can't," said little Nell. "I'm too small." "Yes, you can," said the animals, "and no, you're not." "But I'm so small," said little Nell. "My family won't let me do anything. I could never make a snowman." "Well, how do you know unless you try?" asked Bear Cub. "We'll help you," Little Nell sighed. Well, maybe, she said. Little Nell got down on her knees. She carefully patted and matted and batted the snow into a tiny ball. She rolled it and rolled it and rolled it to Reindeer. Reindeer nudged it and nudged it and nudged it to Hare. Hare kicked it and kicked it and kicked it to Bear Cub. Bear Cub rolled it and rolled it and rolled it until it stopped, thud, by the edge of a big icy pond. Now what? Asked Reindeer. The snowman needs a middle, said Little Nell. How do we do that? Asked Hare. Little Nell bit her lip. She got down on her knees. She carefully patted and matted and batted another tiny snowball. She rolled it and rolled it to Reindeer. Reindeer nudged it and nudged it to Hare. Hare kicked it and kicked it to Bear Cub. Bear Cub rolled it and rolled it until, thud, it came to a stop. He pushed it on top of the other snowball. Now what? He asked. It needs a head, cried Little Nell. She patted and matted and batted another tiny snowball. Then she rolled it to Reindeer. Reindeer nudged it to Hare. Hare kicked it to Bear Cub. Bear Cub stuck it on top of the other two snowballs. Little Nell and the animals stood back and looked at their snowman. Something's missing, said Hare. The face, said Little Nell. How do we do that? Asked the animals. I think we'll need help, said Little Nell. She whistled for the birds to come. Crow, cardinal, and sparrow flew down from the trees. Could you make a face for our snowman? She asked. Crow fetched 2 pieces of bark for the eyes. Cardinal found an old pink sock for the nose. Sparrow brought raisins for the mouth. Little Nell handed her green scarf to the birds. They wound it and wound it and wound it around the snowman's neck. Then they added 2 sticks for arms. The snowman was finally finished. Little Nell and the animals gazed up at their creation. Wow, said the animals. Wow, said Little Nell. It was almost lunchtime. Little Nell said goodbye to her friends. She walked home through the big snowy woods. Big Mama, Big Sarah, and Big Lizzie were waiting for her. Where have you been? They asked in their big blustery voices. I was building a great big snowman, answered Little Nell. How could someone as little as you build a great big snowman? Asked Big Lizzie. Come and see, said Little Nell. So Big Mama, Big Sarah, and Big Lizzie followed Little Nell through the big snowy woods to the snowman. As they looked up, their mouths dropped open and their arms dropped to their sides. Wow, they said. You built that? Yes, I did, said Little Nell, with the help of my friends. That is the biggest, best snowman that ever was, said Big Mama. Yes, it is, said Little Nell, a huge smile on her face. Will you come and help us make a big, yummy lunch? Asked Big Sarah. No, she can't, said Big Lizzie. She's still too small. Yes, I can, said Little Nell. And no, I'm not. Yes, you can, said Big Mama, and yes, you will. Big Mama gave little Nell a big sloppy kiss. Smooch. Big Sarah gave little Nell a big squeezy hug. Ooch. Big Lizzie stuck her big nose in the air. Little Nell's friends lifted her to the top of the snowman. Hooray! And that is the end of The Biggest Best Snowman by Margery Cuyler, illustrated by Will Hillenbrand. I really enjoyed being with you today, boys and girls, reading stories and poems about playing with snow and building a snowman. If you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, you can do so. Just tap the word subscribe right there, and that way you'll get all the latest videos with stories and poems from Reading with Mrs. Adams. Remember this one truth, boys and girls, and that is that God loves you so much. So dare to dream the impossible, because all things are possible with God. I love you. Until next time, boys and girls, goodbye.